this up. Or go where? The microphone. Says need help question mark. Yeah. No, right, not above that. Let's see, I've got people. Rob Brown is on. Okay, there's nothing down there. It just says notes and need help. Well, that's as low as it goes.
And it's good.
Yeah, that's as low as it goes. Mm-hmm. Okay. No, hold on one second. I see Rob. Senior data reporter Harry Ensign. And Harry, I mean, honestly, this race is so close right now at this moment. Razor tight. My goodness gracious, you rarely, I get excited on that. All right, now it's stuck on here. I won't get off this restream box I'm on now. We get a race tonight as tight as we have it right now. Okay, no, I've got Rob's picture up. Now down here at the bottom it says need help. All the way down, there's no left. It's blank. It's a cogwheel. Okay, cogwheel settings. I'm on cogwheel, right? Okay, it's blank. Yeah, it's blank. And Trump's endorsement has been as good as gold. Before tonight, only one candidate. FaceTime camera, HD is all it says. Yeah. I looked at 2018. More Trump endorsed candidates are. I don't know. I don't know. I've got it. It's not giving me any picture. I had the picture before. It was working fine. The camera showed me fine when it went on. So. Yeah, that's down here. I got the microphone. The camera icon says BMG. So that's the BMG. It says your initials on it. And the camera is on. The so far this year, incumbents have been winning all over the place. Look at this. Renominated 228, just one has lost, and that was to a fellow incumbent. Oh no, it's just the cog, virtual background, shortcuts, video, etc. Some platforms might downgrade stream quality to HD. Which one? We'll have to wait and see. It won't let me go there. It won't. I've got it on full def. It won't let me go. I don't know. Could be. Well, my picture's not up. So. All right. Rob is on. He's broadcasting. Rob, go. Go ahead, Rob. You're on. I guess. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Folks, if you're watching this, I'm in. It's not that. It's the internet connection. I think is what it is. All right. Okay, I'm going to leave site. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. We're just ready for you to get going here as soon as you can come on here with us right now on the Tuesday night edition. But we got a big lineup, and I've seen that what all's coming in. So hopefully Brendan's going to be able to do his magic like he does every morning with me. So got to get that going. But should be momentarily have everything on here with us. But buddy, let me know what you want me to do, because I don't know if you're having internet problems, if you got any kind of a connection at all. or what the next move is. So, let's see. Buddy, are you there? Can you hear us at all? Okay, there you are.
Hey, we're up and running, folks.
Hey, there he is.
Oh,
So wait, buddy, you were in the witness protection program there for a second.
no, I'm on the road, folks.
I know.
Problems. I'm in Tallahassee. That's first of all.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah. And then secondly, I have an internet connection in my room.
Yeah.
Started to work on it for 2 hours. I was ready to launch with Rob, and then I looked at my computer, and I had no picture of me. Well, it's kind of hard to do the show when I'm not on it.
Yeah.
In fact, he's Rob Brown. I'm Buddy Martin. We're doing this together tonight. We've got some guests coming up in a minute. David Whitley will be joining us shortly. He was going to be standing by for the night's game, but as you know, folks, Gators watched out. Kentucky and Florida will play at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, which means I'll be here in my room in the Indigo Hotel here in Tallahassee. Beautiful hotel, love it. Watching on TV at 11 o'clock in the morning, eating my breakfast. So Rob is the host of course, SEC Sidelines, well known around here, and he joins us regularly. I thought he may have to host the show tonight, first of all. Then I got here and I thought, well, I'm going to be good. I worked out. I turned on my computer. Anyway, we're here. Glad to be with you. We got guests coming up. Thanks for being patient. All 50, 60 of you on there right now. We're getting there. Hey, this is to cover the highlights of the day. FSU won today. I think 9-5. Somebody help me out here. Yeah, let's get our notes coming here. And then our chat. And we'll get some information here from my buddies. All right, Perry Mason says, "Poor fellows, you're in Tallycrappy." Yeah, we are I am. He's not. He's at home. So Michael Burton, thank you very much for your sympathy. Appreciate it very much. I'm here. I checked in the hotel, and so I got to get upstairs and get my computer set up. I got an important podcast to do, and I say, "What is it about?" So, well, it's about sports, and I thought I better not say it's a Florida Gator podcast.
Yeah, then the Wi-Fi would be done.
Yeah. So I said, "Well, yeah, I'm covering the World Series. FSU's in it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Florida. Oh, Florida made it in. Huh? That's what they said. Yeah, Florida made it in. So I guess you know the story now. I guess they had torrential downpour in Omaha and lots of water, and so I didn't know. I called Rob when I hit here and said, "Well, what's the deal? Is the game on or not?" And I found out Brendan told me it was washed out. So thanks to the brilliant producer, Brendan Martin, for getting. Look here. We even got David Williams. Look at this. David.
There he goes. He's in Omaha.
No, he's home.
Okay.
I'm in the home office, which we can call Omaha.
That's right.
Yes. Omaha. Yeah, well, that's made many. Let me go back and do this real fast. I'll do it backwards. I'm going to do this tonight. Let's see here. We normally come on the air and do this, and we do this. So folks will know what is going on out here. And this is called the Buddy Martin Show because David Whitley is not the host of it. And the guy who is behind this dumb guy right here. And here's our open to the show.
For Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Okay, officially we're on the air now, finally, okay? And I want to see what that first 5 minutes with Rob was like before you got here. I'm on the air trying to figure out why my picture has gone away. We're on the air live. Rob is trying to do the show. Brendan is on my ear trying to. By the way, I got to say, Brendan is a genius. When it comes to all this stuff, if it breaks, you say, "Help! What do I do?" He always seems to know the answers. Is that right? Robbie's your producer.
Yeah, I can tell you this. I've got a lot of pilot clients, and I always go back to what they say. I go, what if you're flying from Atlanta to Heathrow, halfway across the Atlantic, you lose an engine? I got 3 others. That's how I felt that first 5 minutes. I just didn't want to be stepping on your toes because it's your show. And I was like, well, it'll work out. And once I knew Brendan was on the phone, I was like, it's all going to work out. And then David Whitley popped up. Everything's good. And
right. It was like Sully landing the airplane in the Hudson River, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
David, we got no football or baseball or basketball, but I got a story for you. And before we get into the other stuff, the unimportant stuff, I don't know how well you guys know each other, but I wanted to say this particular story got my interest today. And I know why, because this is if there's ever a David Whitley story, this would be it. Love this. Okay, now, in between, when you have rain delays, if you ever cover a series, you have to have funny things to write about, sometimes off the wall. David, you had to write tonight. I got just a story for you. Ready?
Yeah.
I read this tweet. The UF concrete canoe team is ready to make waves at the ASC concrete canoe competition in Utah.
Concrete canoe.
See, I know you're hooked. You're a hook right there. It says, cheer on our Gators as they aim to add spring seeker, quote unquote, to our championship canoes in the pit. Check out their journey of past. I'm thinking, I'm getting suckered in on this, Rob. This is one of those fake news deals. I'm thinking, I'm getting suckered in here. I said, let me just click on this thing. And sure enough, the University of Florida's concrete canoe team hopes to hang another championship canoe in their pit. The team of 12 students will compete this month at the American Society of Civil Engineers Student Engineering Championship at Brigham Young University of Provo. If they take home the title of their 2024 competition canoe, the Spring Seeker will be hung on the pit's ceiling of honor in the Wow Hall with 2 other UF champions. But you know that. Forevermore Glades and the Tom Petty theme, Free Floating. David, this has got you written all over this story. It's a real story. Concrete canoe competition, David. Hey.
I will be calling them first thing in the morning to get some details. And so did I hear you say or that to get another championship? So is Florida like, I don't know, the Oklahoma softball
Could be.
of concrete canoeing?
Did they win the bass fishing contest? I
think they, that I have written about.
Yes, I remember that column. Yes.
Yeah, and because it has sort of fishing is certainly a sport. Canoeing, I guess. Hey, these days,
I know.
You see some stuff in the Olympics. Yeah.
Concrete canoeing, David.
Concrete canoeing.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like something they would put Jimmy Hoffa in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I will say this. I actually canoe race a lot competitively, and concrete
who knew?
Concrete canoes. I promise you. It's the engineer. We used to have E-Day at Auburn. I guarantee you they have it at Florida, Engineering Day, and they would make concrete canoes and they float and they compete in the Mississippi River race. It is so cool to see it. That's why those guys run the world, engineers.
Yeah.
But what's the name of the Florida College of Engineering?
Let's
see. You guys
see.
talk among yourselves for just a second.
Because that's a cool story, David. If you could get if they're looking for someone to cover that story, get you in there and paddle in a concrete canoe. Because engineers, again, I'm not that smart, but it's the displacement in the water and it'll float. And we've seen them on the Mississippi River. And you're like laughing, going, "This is not real," and it's real. First time I saw him, I'm like, "That thing floats." It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, I've got to check this out. Concrete can
Well,
float.
I think, remember when Charles? I'm old enough that when Charles Carrault started that
Yeah.
road
On the road.
my favorite show
Loved
on
him.
TV.
Yeah.
If ever was the guy built to do that, it's David Whitley. On the
Yeah.
road with all 50 in a camper.
Mm-hmm.
You have a cat or
Yep.
a dog? I forget, David.
I've got both. So
Okay, well, but you got kids too, right?
Oh yeah, I've got the whole I check all the boxes right now.
And you
Yeah.
need to get on that road and go out to Norman, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
right? And then go to Austin, Texas, and just live out there for a week. Tell us about all the crazy little things that are going on there.
Mhm.
Because what this man, hey, this guy is a national award-winning columnist. Again, it's not the first time. And I would love to read your stuff. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, well, I've done some goofy things, but I've never been in a concrete canoe. That would be
That would be.
the next
Guess what else? I ain't gonna be in one.
Yeah.
Now I've written some columns that would take me down like a concrete canoe.
Yeah.
No. All right, so here we are, guys. It's baseball time again in the Rockies, as they say. Florida. I don't know, Rob, what you know about it. I didn't see any games today. I didn't see FSU. Some of our brilliant listeners, we got 100 of them watching right now, can fill us in. It seems like pitching setups, David, are critical to everything.
Oh yeah.
And look, Florida's are lined up. Now, I didn't read, I guess Coppola was going to start today. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they have now this extra day brings a lot back into the pitching staff, doesn't it?
It helps, when you see the weather like that, you're thinking, well, maybe God is a Gator kind of thing, because it's once you get in that losers bracket, it is that is half a death sentence. I think Ole Miss battled out of it like 3 or 4 years ago and won, but it's rare because it really taxes your pitching staff. I mean, because college staffs aren't that deep with quality guys anyway. And, and Florida struggled all year. And, yesterday getting one inning out of Caglianone, not that he didn't do other things to make, to pay for his scholarship yesterday.
Yeah.
But that put him, that meant they had to go long relief again. And man, they needed a day off, those arms, but they're right back at it tomorrow, and they need. I don't know if it's. I've heard it both Coppola and Coppola. I go with Francis. Whatever the God Francis Ford
right.
Coppola.
Oh, okay. All right.
If it's good enough for Francis Ford, it's good enough for Pierce. And so, they're in that position where you just put a guy out there and you just cross your fingers because
he lost Cags now. I think he's done pitching, maybe good for the whole time. His arm. I've heard his arm.
Yeah, I haven't really been able to figure out what his problem was. It looked like he had an injury issue. He's rubbing his elbow, but I haven't really found out maybe if that was a problem. Because much farther, they're going to need to get him back on the mound. They just don't have any other bodies to go out there, if not just to try.
I don't have my phone handy. My wife just borrowed it, but I had the innings written down on what they have left in their bullpen. After this day of rest, it brings almost everybody back into play, and they've had some really good bullpen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it'll help them tomorrow. Of course, then the problem is, you get through tomorrow, then you got 2 more games in a row the next 2 days to get if you're gonna because assuming they win at 2 o'clock or at 11 o'clock, then they're coming back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah,
probably with I would guess Peterson, who started Saturday night. And then so you win that. Okay, well, then you got to go back to who on Thursday. It just and it is smoke and mirrors with that pitching staff at this point. But it's not impossible.
I think I've got the. Let me just look here a second and see what I got here on the pitching stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. So they didn't use Pierce Coppola at all. So he would now, obviously, he can start. They didn't use Luke McNally, who's a bright young guy with a good arm. Didn't use him. Didn't use Fisher Jameson, who's been off the bullpen. Didn't use Frank Menendez at all, fully rested. and Jake Clemente threw less than 30 pitches, and Brandon Neely, their ace, who, by the way, has been fantastic.
Yeah.
He threw only 45 pitches.
Yeah.
So you can go back to him. He's been their ace, man. He's been amazing, hasn't he?
Oh, man, he has been lights out. And, yesterday they really, you could tell they didn't want to bring him in the seventh. You prefer to bring in your closer when it's time to close, but they're in the position where, you got to go all in on every game because, if you don't go all in, there's not a next game. So they put him out there and he did his job. And, you can't, if it gets in a tight spot, you got to go with the guy. And that's what, Sully did. And it worked out yesterday. And, it's a tough spot to be in for Sully. Of course, he's been there 100 times, because you want to go with your horses, but you also got to protect these kids' arms.
David, none of the losers bracket. He talked about it in his press conference.
Yeah.
He's come from his own super regional every time.
Yeah.
And so he's never had to come to another regional and go to losers bracket. He said, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the guy, how many straight 9? And he says he's still learning.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, I know you've been following it from afar.
Yep.
And I know you watched some of it.
What's
been your takeaway on Florida?
Well, I mean, the thing about Florida, you're right. That extra day is going to be huge. But last year, LSU, didn't Paul Scanes come and pitch on 3 days? I mean, and David's right. Don't wait to be great. We got to have you now. This may be Caglianone, he's going around as they talk about. Fran said it on the show yesterday. This could be the next game he plays could be the last time he ever wears that Florida jersey, and that is very personal to him. But I like the resolve, the way Kevin O'Sullivan 9 times in 14 years being in the College World Series, and last year, they were runner-up. No one is talking about the fact that Florida was there in the championship, best 2 out of 3 last year. They're looking at, they won 29 games, lost 27 or 28 in the regular season. Now they got 35 wins. Now, I'm looking at these comments over here. Thank you, Michael Burton. Weather forecast for Omaha Wednesday, 97% chance of rain, high 69, low 67. Then he's got the complete schedule for tomorrow. So the Gators are going to have to play 2 games. It's the walking wounded. It's like a triage unit. But these are 21, 22, 3-year-old kids like you, Kyle. You know what? It's amazing what you can do with your body. But I wouldn't take a 5-hour energy. I'd just get some rest. Your body will be much better. Yeah.
Tomorrow may be a very long day. Because you're showing up at the park. Look at their 8 a.m. Omaha time. Yeah. And they may get in that first game. Then it could be a iffy thing. And then it's scheduled for 6 o'clock. So who knows? It may not, like Saturday night. You're ready to watch at 7 o'clock. Nope. Delay. Says we're starting at 10:15. So in theory, it could be the same kind of thing tomorrow where they could be leaving about the time Wednesday morning or Thursday morning where they show up Wednesday morning and then come back and play.
Yeah. And that rain chance will vary throughout the day. So it's they'll get those games in.
And Michael Burton's got a full schedule right here.
I love it.
10. I got 11. 11 o'clock. So I got Central time. Yeah. Okay, 11 o'clock Eastern. Followed by the 11 FSU or North Carolina. Well, FSU beat North Carolina.
Yeah.
It'll be them.
Yeah, it's Tennessee, FSU, and they're down to the final 2 over there.
Right, and then the Texas A&M, UK, or Florida would be at what time?
12. It was 7 Eastern tomorrow night.
Okay. Yeah. Kyle, how you doing, buddy? Just jump on in here. David, I hope you can stay around for a minute. If you got to go, I understand. But
I always want to hang out and see what Kyle has to say.
All right.
My favorite guys. How are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Congratulations. You already walked the plank, didn't you?
Graduated, plank, man. Yeah, I'm a slave, man. I'm a slave for the rest of the life. Now,
I have a problem. Sometimes her son calls. If he gets him on there, he's a Seminole. I mean, I'm sorry, he is. Yes. And then he's the sheriff of Bay County.
Oh.
Yeah. How can I answer the call from the sheriff? So I have to answer. I gave her the phone. She took the phone. I'm sitting there trying to remember what my notes were, but it's okay, honey. Okay, it's okay. All right. So yeah, so Kyle.
Yes.
Kyle's covered baseball a lot, quite a bit in the last couple of years. I know you're sitting home just thrilled to death about this whole thing. You knew some of these guys, some of your buddies are already gone. Talk about this baseball team, Kyle, what you've seen.
Yeah, like you said, I was there last year. I was kind of able to experience the whole LSU, Paul Skeens, that whole situation. And, I see a lot of very similar, trends. And especially, leading up to that moment last year in the championship series, we hit super well. But, in that LSU series, I forget the name of the pitcher, but I think he had 17 strikeouts. And, through the first two games here, 3 games here, our 1, 3, and 4 hitters are 0 for 22 with 14 strikeouts. So, I mean, if you want to be able to win three straight games, you're going to need some more help for Cags in the lineup, hitting wise. And then I also think that, with Coppola and all these other guys who aren't getting, maybe these midweek starts during the regular season, you're going to have to go out there and throw maybe more than you would expect on a, normal weekday game where, you're not throwing all your arms. So I think the last time Coppola pitched against Kentucky, he went 2 innings. I think O'Sullivan would be super happy if he went even 3 or 4. Just get into Fisher Jamison, and then Brandon McNeely. He might be one of the best closers left in the tournament right now. He's been doing
unbelievable, Kyle.
Yeah, just feeding off the crowd. You can tell that he plays with emotion.
In here, Willie Mays died at 93. Willie Mays. They were just talking about it today because they're having a big game this weekend in Birmingham at the Rickwood Field, the oldest ballpark in America. Yeah. And he came up there in Birmingham. So all right,
he's from Westfield. Yeah.
Yeah, you know about that Alabama.
Yeah,
stuff.
And Hank Aaron went to Murphy High School down in Mobile. I mean, Willie wasn't but 93. I mean, but that David, did you not grow up when every time you caught a fly ball going back? I mean, Willie Mays. You can't read enough stories about these guys. And Kyle, man, that was I love what you just said about the end of the game last year in the World Series. I think the Gators, like any team, these kids, you're their age, they're going to do whatever they got to do. I mean, this could be it. But tomorrow is going to be the toughest day they probably had all year. They could play as many as 2 games.
I mean, the talent's there. I mean, people forget, they think about the regular season in 28, 27. I mean, a lot of those games were still kept close. They were the number 2 team ranked preseason. And a lot of these guys were a part of that team last year. And, being in Omaha, it's probably one of the biggest stadiums that they played in all year. So, already being there and kind of what happened with the Boston Celtics. Like, they already been to the finals. They already know what it was like. They lost. And, being able to have those veteran people in the dugout can go a long way. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing. And, I think a lot of people aren't surprised inside that dugout. But, as you can tell, a lot of people around the country are definitely surprised that Florida's made it this far.
Yeah. Here's the story in the AP. Willie Mays, the greatest giant of all and one of the greatest baseball players ever, died Tuesday at the age of 93. The thoughts of many around baseball were on Mays this week with Thursday's MLB at Rickwood Field. I just talked about a game in Birmingham between the Giants and Cardinals. Soon to be a celebration of Mays' career, which began with the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues in general. And, of course, all baseball is morning. A little note on that. The Birmingham Barons, which were a white team, trained in Ocala for years and years and years. And they were our connection to Birmingham. And we all used to look at those Red Sox uniforms, which we could have one. But this moment I remember is when I was in New York, I was walking down Fifth Avenue, I believe, when I got there, I saw New York Post came up, and the New York Mets had traded for Willie Mays in his last year. If you remember, you don't, you're too young. They went to the World Series, and they went to, was it Oakland, I believe, in California. I was at the World Series, and Willie was playing center field. He was about 40 then. Willie never worked out like they did today. I mean, they just didn't do it. and he was in center field, and he played him in a couple of plays, and he stumbled and fell a couple of times. It was really hard to watch the great Willie Mays stumbling and falling in center field. That's what struck in my mind. So yeah, I mean, he was a complex guy. Everybody who knew him loved him, but if you didn't know him, he wouldn't give you the time of day. He wouldn't sign an autograph. Doesn't make him a bad person. That's just how it was.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, what a great player! And it's funny. Just this past week, David, the catch was made by the kid from
Clemson. Yeah.
Was reminiscent. People talk about a Willie Mays type catch over his head, but as we talked about, David, in some ways, the kid from what was his name? From
Camarella. I don't know.
Camarella, I think.
Yeah.
Camarella. Yeah. He was playing in too far. Ball was hit over his head. He turned around, back to the ball, had to circle back around, and then made the catch at the wall and caught it on the heel of his glove. It was one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. Really, it was Willie Mays-esque, and it might have been better than anything Willie did, but Willie's name was just invoked.
That shows you how important. Every time a guy makes a catch like that, you think back to something that happened now. When he caught off Vic Wertz, what was that, 70 years ago now? But Willie Mays. He trademarked that move.
Yeah. I can't get over some of the performances of this World Series. And I'm saying to myself, I'm hooked on college baseball like I've never been before. I tried to express it, David, in a column of hyperbole, but how baseball has changed. I played it in college for a year and a half, and loved it. And it was like, I said, comparing that baseball today to today's baseball, that's like taking if the VFW fish fry became the Macy's Day Parade.
Mm-hmm.
But this college baseball thing has blown up, Kyle. Blown up. You've seen it. You followed it closer. Maybe I'm just late to the game, but I am hooked on college baseball, Kyle.
I was talking about it the other day with a bunch of my friends too, and we got down to the point that I think it's the format that college baseball has, kind of being able to host your own regional, getting the local fans kind of brought in, and then moving out to a super regional, and the double elimination, and then being able to have kind of an Elite Eight of all of the different regions come together. I think that is the best format out of all of the, playoffs across all the different college sports, maybe outside of the tournament. But yeah, no, I think that the NCAA probably did something right there. And, Omaha, and being able to have these, people that are in college baseball like Caglianone or Paul Skeens that are able to, reach the different crowds that maybe throughout college that aren't just baseball, definitely adds to the attraction of it. And, I think having, I know all my friends are excited tomorrow that we got baseball starting at 11 a.m. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be a good day.
Buddy, can I ask you, did y'all have aluminum bats when you were playing for the Gators?
No.
Have they discovered aluminum yet?
They corked them.
No, we just had the old baseball was stitched up like, real
like papyrus.
Yeah, just like real horsehide and stuff like that. Yeah. We had our bats, we had to carve out our own bats out of oak.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, after the tree was hit by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we had. We didn't even think about having that. And I really hate that they lost that sound of that wooden bat. But I understand the economics of it. But so I was thinking about this game of college baseball. One of the things that we like about it is that the players come and stay for 3 or 4 years and get to know the townspeople come to the game. And it's different. I mean, a lot of retired people, especially on college games, go to baseball games, they go to Florida, and they get to know the players, and they have a relationship with the players. It's an intimacy they don't have in other sports, because baseball, not being a big revenue sport, the players are more accessible, and it's really become a popular sport for locals to go, and they can afford to go to the game, guys.
Sure, it is a social event, and it's also the same as the softball team. They have just a great core of fans that they build their spring around, going because it's just relaxing to go out to the old ball yard and
Yeah.
spend the evening there. And that's what they do. And you get your season tickets and it's a good show. I mean, it's not like you're going out there and you're watching a team that always struggles and they always have especially since they got the Convent ballpark built, now, people who used to go sweat it out at the old ball yard. Now it's like, go, like you said earlier, going from the fish fry to Macy's, with a new ball yard. And so it is. And Gainesville is not unique in that respect. If anything, it is maybe in the top 5 in the SEC for just crowd thing. I mean, you go to some of these like LSU and Mississippi State, it is the thing to do. I mean, LSU is just legendary for the way they follow. And, it's funny, last year, they have that shot contest at the bar and,
right.
Kyle, you probably found a few.
Yellow shots. Kyle knows all about those. By the way, I should say the program being brought to you by Meldon Law. I just want to make sure we get our sponsors out there. We had Jeffrey Meldon on yesterday, and last night he came back from Omaha, loved it, and great. And Jeffrey just eats it up. By the way, Meldon Law, they're not only a good law firm where they do a lot of sponsorships of things, and for the University of Florida in this show, but they're very involved in all aspects of college sports. Meldon Law, and they don't back down. All right, getting that commercially, and now a couple of notes here on this. Scott Carter said the Gators do play their way into the College World Championship Series. They will have earned it the hard way. Regional, super regional, wins on the road, playing out of the losers bracket in Omaha, including a doubleheader. Jeff Cardozo wrote 4-0 when the season has been on the line in the postseason with the Florida Gators. Congrats to Jack Caglianone for 100 hits, 34 home runs on the season, and 74 for his career, all with one swing. And I wrote a column yesterday just saying, David, it's time to build a statue for Cags. I don't know how you do all that, but this is the greatest baseball player I've ever seen in Florida and one of the greatest of all time.
It's sort of, he didn't even make the Golden Spikes top 3. And I think the voters on there, they must be thinking, hey, we voted too soon because it's this is the Heisman of the baseball thing and how he's not in your top 3. What more does the guy have to do than do that? But it is you hate to see it. You think a guy like that is irreplaceable, and he is, but you're thinking last God, Wyatt Langford, you think, oh, how do they come back? But they always come back with a good team. There won't be another Cags, but they'll have they're gonna be have somebody. And a good lineup next year, but you just want to savor every at bat because you just never know with that. I mean, it's not just he hits home runs. He hit like even that one yesterday. It was just a screamer. Like a 1-iron, and it had to be like against that wind to get out.
It was a 1-iron. You're right.
Yeah. And you just see the coach for NC State just shaking his thinking because his. Their starter made Cags look bad, in the first at bat because he's a big old lefty, and he said, well, we can just get past him one more time, and just boom, and the guy just said, what have I done? And that's why you saw. I mean, what they say, he has 30 intentional walks this year, which is they've only been counting them for like 8 years, but that's as many as anybody's had. But it's true. I mean, I think if they go another couple of games, if they keep intentional walks as a CWS record, that he will put it out there in sort of like a DiMaggio fashion.
Yeah, I tried to come out with this yesterday. If he's had more walk-offs than a group of what do you call guys who steal in the store, and at a Washington D.C. Walmart,
thrifters,
looters.
No, the guys who smash and grab. But anyway, good evening, Loren.
How you guys doing?
Seminoles and
what's up, Loren?
What's happening?
We're having a good discussion about baseball and other things here. By the way, Florida State also headed to the semifinals. They late Tuesday beat North Carolina 9-5, at Charles Schwab Field. I can't get used to saying that. And the men's college where FSU's victory has officially eliminated the Tar Heels. The battle was held on the day Tuesday night. It was postponed, of course, as we know. With the victory, Florida State advances to the semifinals in Omaha. We'll take on Tennessee Wednesday, and the Volunteers secured their spot in the semifinals with a dominant 6-1 win over North Carolina. Not the only game that wasn't a walk-off, right? All right, so guys, we're all here together. We're talking ball. We're talking baseball. Feel free to jump in and have a conversation. David Whitley next year is going to go to the concrete canoe team competition and not the World Series. That's enough. And then finally, Loren, there is some changes in the softball program, which we'll get to in a minute. So, all right, who wants to jump in next? Best thing so far you've seen at the College World Series? Kyle, go for it.
Shoot. I think that the three straight walk-offs to start the College World Series, I thought that was super cool. And then, getting that late night. I thought late night baseball the other night was pretty cool too. Staying up till 2 a.m. and just sweating out the Gators. Obviously, it didn't go our way, but it was making memories. So,
all right, David, best thing you've seen so far?
Well, the most compelling thing I've seen so far was that check swing, non-check swing that cost FSU the first game. Yeah. I mean, as far as just controversy, because it was a 50-50 call, but you just think, man, if he just called that a strike, FSU's in high cotton, and then suddenly Tennessee's in trouble, and just so much was riding on that one little questionable call, and I saw someone tweet that they think that it was Kirk Herbstreit who made the call because Herbie's got it in for FSU, as we all know.
Yeah. Our friend the Iron Duke, who always likes to rip on the officials, Loren, says their home plate was horrendous in the last couple of games on both sides. Have you noticed the umpiring at all, Loren?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a little suspect. Off and on really throughout the whole year. But I'm one of those people that I think that I've said it before. It's like those people that rail on the college football officials. If you waiting on the officials to win you a game, it's like looking for money in your couch to pay the rent. Come on. It's just, to me, it's a very easy way to not own up to your own transgressions. So, I think the big thing is, the SEC has kind of vanquished the ACC in a lot of ways in the tournament, and that's pretty cool. So, score one for the SEC in baseball, and they can kind of lay claim to being the best, at least in three sports, with football, softball and baseball now. So I think that's the most interesting thing. But I mean, I think that, as the game progresses, I think they're going to start to kind of maybe throw, they always throw that diagram up there and show whether it's a strike or a ball in different telecasts. I mean, we may be headed that way. I hope not, because I like the human error in the game, but the umpiring will be what it is, and let's just hope at the end of the day it doesn't cost somebody a championship. But I think it's just one of those things.
Rob, you can speak to the SEC dominance.
Yeah, I do. I think, here you are, you got 4 SEC teams still alive. I think that's been the takeaway so far. And Florida had a 13-17 regular season record. It just goes to show you that iron sharpens iron. You're playing tough competition. We talked about it on the show yesterday with Ben and Franz. Midweek games against Miami and Central Florida, those just make you a better team. So, your record may not be, it was, 34 wins when they got to Omaha. Tennessee, on comparison, has 55. But when you play in the best league, it's the reason why the same thing's going to happen in football. You're going to have 3 or 4 teams in a 12-team playoff coming from the Southeastern Conference. It's just the way it is down here. Your schedule, we're going to have a 9-3 SEC team in the next few years make the CFP. When they go to 14, it's going to happen, because you're going to look around, and just like in baseball, they're going to say, who's better? Who's better?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm getting banged on by one of our callers, one of our listeners, who keeps coming on about Dale Thomas. I'll get to you here. The War Channel, they want to know. And a lot of people are not familiar with Dale Thomas. He's the guy who plays third base. He's sometimes makes some mistakes. He's a pretty good. He's a hustler. He's a heck of a player on defense. Occasionally, it's a long ball. He comes in off the field and he gets in screaming in the face of the pitcher every time to get him fired up. I know, Kyle, you've seen it. Rob wouldn't know about it. And Loren, you may.
I think it's great.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little too much over the top, though. War Channel wants to. Can we hear about Dale Thomas? All right, who wants to talk?
I mean, it's just one of the things, man. It's once again, it's part of what works, man. I mean, every team has their thing, and it's what works. I mean, you got to kind of just. I mean, it ain't much to talk about, really. It's just it is what it is. I mean, it works, and that, if that's what they like to do and how they want to do it, I think that Cal may be to shed a little bit more light on it, but I mean, it works. I mean, everybody has their quirks in sports and different things to get people going and hype things up, and whether it be music or rituals or a little bit of everything. I mean, it ain't much. I mean, that if you've played any type of sport that is dependent on others, then you find a way to get the best out of each other, and I think that's what this is.
Let me throw one out of here that's off the wall a little bit. One thing about baseball is the reason it's so popular, it's being televised a lot more. And you're getting to see more games now. It used to be just on radio, and then sometimes it was hard to get on the radio. When I owned radio stations and like out of Gainesville, we were not on the network. But every now and then Florida would get too many games. They couldn't get them all on their station. They come to us. Could you carry the women's softball team? We do it, whatever. But I want to get to this point of who Sean Kelly and Jeff Cardozo are. I thought about Cardozo, and I've listened a lot to Cardozo this season because I couldn't always get the games on TV. I think Sean Kelly's okay. I mean, he's earning his spurs. I think Jeff Cardozo is really good. I just listen to the nuances of the game, the rhythm of his broadcast, the knowledge he brings to it, the microphone. I've become a Jeff Cardozo fan. Kyle, how about you?
I listening, I've actually, been in the car and turned them on, and the way that they're able to break it down has been really cool. And I also liked they brought in an ex-player. He's off the tip of my tongue. He played last year. He was the catcher.
BT.
BT Ripel. They brought him into the booth a few times, and kind of just having his perspective. Those two guys are awesome and super, super nice guys.
Yeah. I know, David, you probably heard it a few times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jeff, you can tell, he was a pitcher, 20 years ago? And so he comes from, a place of knowledge, and he's become a good broadcaster too. Because, just because you've done it doesn't mean you can talk about it, but he can talk about it. And you're right. He knows how to work a game now, how to insert things. And he's the kind of guy that you thought, if he had an ambition, it was ambitious enough, he could probably, start minor league and work his way up. But I think he's happy here. He just loves going out to Condren Park and, 40 times a year and doing it. And he handles it very well. I mean, when you sit there, a lot of times you think, God, I wish I could see what they're talking about, because I wish I could see it on TV. But Jeff has a way of putting you there, and not a lot of that's a knack, that's a talent.
Yeah, you're right. He does. I've enjoyed it. I've always loved baseball on the radio because David, we get back long enough to rob you a little bit. Remember when radio was married to baseball, and that was something you listened to when you were a kid. Any Cardinal games you could get on KMOX, whatever.
Oh yeah,
Rob, I know you grew up doing that.
Well, and we've had Jeff Cardozo on the show. When I first was looking for a Gator when he started Sidelines back August of 2019, Jeff came on many times, and he'd be on with Butch Thompson, Auburn's baseball coach, and he's got one of the best baseball minds out there. I think he's from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, something like that, but he is his whole family's Gators, and he loves what he does. I think he's a fantastic broadcaster. And again, there's no better sport to attend in person than baseball.
Yeah.
But listening to on the front porch with a pitcher of Long Island teas and a cooler full of ice cold Ham's beer, listening to baseball, you can't get better if you're not there. It's the greatest. And my dad the other day said, "Boy, I wish I could find that original Superman comic book. I bought it the first day it came out." And he goes, "I knew it'd be worth something." I go, "Where is it?" And he goes, "Boy, I'm 95. I don't know. I have no idea." I'm like, God, I'd love to get it. But I just love baseball. And that's sad about Willie Mays, about him passing away. 93, though, he lived a great life. But God, I love baseball.
Yeah, boy, you think
before I switch,
these things happen in threes. You got Jerry West, and Willie Mays, and Bill Walt. Maybe that's the three.
Oh yeah, three. Yeah.
Big Red. Yeah.
Yeah. How about those Celtics? How about Al Horford?
Yeah.
18 flags for Loren.
Laker fan. Sorry.
Well,
can't shake.
Your boys are in it this year. Okay.
Hey, just hope they get a coach by opening game.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I was happy for Al Horford. That's right.
Yeah, I was.
All right, guys, let me do this real quick, and I want you to get a couple of football comments from this.
Football.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. I almost don't like talking about it now.
Right. 9:54. Yeah, this may be a record.
I know.
Football wasn't introduced till 9:54 p.m.
No, it's a record on this show because that's what it is 90% of the time. But it's been refreshing. Yeah. Like I said today, I remember when I played, it was baseball was something that you filled in between a few weeks between football and basketball to fill out the schedule, So.
74 days away, if anybody's counting.
There you go.
Right. And 75 till dove season.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're correct. Yeah. 75 till opening day of dove season in Tennessee.
Let me tell you about TitanMRI.com. It's fine folks who sponsor this program too. They want to accommodate you, and they're now open for business. Have been for a while in North Central Florida. If you need an MRI, listen to this. If you hate to go get an MRI because it makes you claustrophobic, a lot of people do. They got you covered there. They have a special camera with larger spores so you can be more comfortable when you go there. They also can make an appointment for you at night, the weekends. If you're busy and you don't have time, they will custom make your particular appointment. You say, "Well, I don't have insurance." Well, they'll take cash or card, and it's not terribly expensive. So if you need an MRI, I encourage you to look at TitanMRI.com. Urban Meyer today said that Ohio State has one of the greatest collections of players he'd ever seen. He raved about Ohio State, all right? Now, we're starting to think about this football season. We had so many new things. 12 playoff teams and all that kind of stuff going on. And new conferences. We still don't know what we got in the SEC yet. But now you start looking at teams, schedules make a difference. But Ohio State, according to Urban Meyer, has one of the greatest collections of talent he's ever seen. If you had to make a choice today, you had to pick 6 to 8 teams to get among those 12s, who would it be, Kyle? Give me your 6.
6 teams to 16, top 6 teams.
Yeah, they're going to be among the 12. Where's the first year easy? Georgia, obviously.
Georgia. I hate to say it. I think Florida State has a good chance of getting back there next year. I think DJ is going to be pretty good. They have a easier schedule. I'm excited to see what Alabama looks like. I think that. So that's 3 right there. I think Michigan gets back. That's 4. Ohio State 5, and then 6. Let's go something crazy here. Ole Miss.
There you go. All right. Who wants to go next, Loren?
I'll take a run at it. I'm gonna go the usual suspects: Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, USC, and Clemson.
Rob, a lot of people like Penn State.
Not buying it. I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. I've got Georgia. I've got Ole Miss. I'm going to say Ohio State and Michigan again because of the league they play in. I'm going to say Oregon, and my wild card is Tennessee. I think Nico Iamaleava is that good. Iamaleava, I said it right. I've been working on that.
Yeah.
He's still DJ, though. That's the other one. But that's what I think is going to happen. But I do think that Texas, without Bo Davis coaching the defensive line, he's at LSU now, is going to lose 2-3 games, maybe 4 this year without him. He's that good a coach.
Wow.
David?
Oh, I don't have anything to add. They hit them all. And the one that Rob mentioned was Oregon, because I think that Lanny's got it going, and bringing in Dylan, what's his name? The UCF / Oklahoma / now Oregon QB. I don't think that that offense will keep humming, and so I would definitely have them in my top 6.
Did I just hear that it's wrong? These 4 guys, team people on this program picked these teams, and nobody brought up Texas.
I brought them up, but I told you why I don't think they're going to make it.
Yeah,
I was going to mention them till Rob said that. Then I was like,
6,
nah.
You said 6 of the 12. I think they'll be one of the 12. But you said 6 that we're thinking of.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think Texas think.
Then you got to throw in one wild card.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Mine was Ole Miss, but or I guess Florida State.
I think the winner of USC LSU makes the playoff.
Did you hear Ole Miss? Did you hear USC cancel their game with today? I read it someplace with Ole Miss. They're home at home. I think I got that right. Let me look at my notes here, but so much going on. How do we keep it up? We got so many things, so many sports going on at one time.
Southern Cal's not playing Ole Miss this year.
Hold on, it's not this year. All right, hold on. USC home versus Ole Miss has been officially canceled. It wasn't this year.
Yeah.
Why?
Going on that saying, well, they're saying that Keith Harder told Michael Katz this morning, Lincoln Riley runs out on another SEC team. Somebody said, well, there you go. Lincoln Riley's star has fallen a bit, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. USC would like to have Lane Kiffin back at this point.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
He's for some pretty good teams.
Yeah.
I just make Lane Kiffin the last thing we talk about tonight. What the heck? You can love him or hate him. Here's a guy who got fired by they let him off the bus, didn't they? Was it Tennessee at the airport or something?
At USC.
That was the USC one.
USC.
Yeah, he voluntarily snuck out of town, snuck out of Knoxville.
Yeah, no pun intended. Voluntarily.
Yeah, there you go. And of course, in the NFL, he burned those bridges. What about this guy? He's a smart coach. His players seem to like him. There's a piece of him or something that just missing that keeps him from being that guy. I like Lane Kiffin. I don't think he'll ever be that guy. That's my take. Loren?
I think he concentrates too much on one side of the ball. I think that, to really be dialed in, you got to be. I mean, Urban was an offensive guy, but he had his hands on the pulse of the defense and the special teams. I think there's always it's just always something missing with a Lane Kiffin team, and I think it's because he if it's one drawback, he believes his own sauce when it comes to the O's instead of the X's, if you know what I mean. And I think that sometimes he feels like, it's like my stuff works no matter what. And I think that then little things that cost you big ball games, they come back to haunt him. And I think that's his issue.
Rob?
The only reason I feel different about Ole Miss this year is Yancey Porter, who's on our show every week, Rebel Yell Hotline. The coaches feel like they got 12 defensive linemen that they can actually trust. And Jeff Cardoza just texted me back, and he's got nothing to do tonight. But I may have to get him on the show later in the week, but that's a class act. That guy's fantastic. But I just think that Bo Davis is that big a difference maker, and he's coaching the defensive lineman. Was it Kyle or Lauren that said this is my friend Sasquatch. We found him at Walgreens the other day, $7. But LSU with Bo Davis coaching the defensive line, that is enough right there to put them, because Nussmeier will get the job done. This kid's been training and drawing up plays at the kitchen table since he got out of diapers. So watch out for LSU. I agree with that.
Kyle?
I think to Lauren's on kind of bouncing off Loren on the other side of it. I think that Ole Miss is going to be probably one of the most, news covered teams nationally throughout the year. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch offensively. And I think that they're going to have kind of that swagger that Loren was talking about, like it's either my way or the highway. And, I think that will get them into the playoffs. Not saying that they're going to win it, but with 12 teams, I could see them, doing very well in the SEC. They have a very good roster. They got a lot of people returning. And, as Rob was saying, with the depth on the defensive line, hopefully that'll be able to, be enough for Lane Kiffin, because obviously the strength is the defense. But I think this will be a fun team. And, I think, he has the state of Mississippi behind him.
Yeah.
Let's wind up with the award-winning columnist, Professor David Whitley. We'll be writing about the concrete canoe.
The concrete canoe, yes. Yes, and Lane Kiffin was in something of a concrete canoe his career, but he took, he ended up, he was washed ashore at FAU, and he, give him this, he was a brat coming out. He was his reputation was forged early with being such a just the Eddie Haskell type that nobody liked him at Tennessee, and then USC it blew up in his face. And I think it humbled him, and he went to the Saban Reformation School and got his mind right. He is solid. I do sort of wish he would have taken one of those or gotten one of those big, like Bama or Texas when they were talking about it. Just so, now you always think, and he plays it up. Well, we just can't compete in IL. It's tougher at Ole Miss, and some of that is true, but. So he will always have that, I won't say an excuse, but it gives him an out, that he doesn't quite have everything he needs at Ole Miss that they would have. And if he had gotten the Bama job or something like that, we would really see. But if they make the playoffs, it is almost as good as, I think people in Mississippi would think, we'll take that every year. Who wouldn't? But if he can bring a national championship to Ole Miss, talk about building a state. They should just rename the state, Laneville or something.
Yeah.
I thought, Johnny Vaught, or was it Johnny Vaught or Johnny Vaught?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Johnny Vaught.
Yeah, Johnny Vaught. Yeah. I thought that was as close as, there would never be anybody that, he is like getting that 99-yard touchdown pass. Nobody's ever going to get 100. Nobody was ever going to get another national championship at Ole Miss, I thought, because times had changed. But if Lane gets in there and gets bow down. One championship at Ole Miss is worth like 5 at Alabama.
10.
By the way, just so you know, Rob, this, Johnny Vaught won 6 SEC championships
and 3 national championships. Here's another thing people got to know: Dickie Scruggs. Remember this name? He went to federal prison for a while. He was the lead attorney in the tobacco law settlement in Mississippi. And his personal take was $700 million. Okay, his was $700 million. There were 14 other attorneys that went to law school at Ole Miss with him in on the case. There's billions of dollars in cash. The Grove Collective has over 11,000 members. Those folks are. I live in Memphis. I'm among them. But again, you know what it's like at Florida and all these other schools. They hadn't done it. They hadn't won the SEC in 60 years. So this is going to be a lot of fun. But that November 23rd game, they're all worried about going to the Swamp, because by then, Florida's either going to be playing from desperation or whatever. But I think they will be a better team. But Ole Miss has got to go to the Swamp November 23rd. That's going to be the biggest late season game in the modern era of Ole Miss football. That's how big they're looking at that game. That's what they're saying up here in the Delta.
All right, my guys, just one more bulletin. Aaron Judge left the game tonight, injured after the tear he's been on. He's got hit by a pitch on the left hand, so not good for the Yankees there. All right, guys. Great job as always. You don't get any better than this. Kyle, good to see you again. Loren, thank you as always. See you Thursday night, Loren. David?
Yes, sir.
Glad you didn't get to go, David.
Yeah.
Good night,
Well,
guys.
the weather forecast, we may be talking CWS next week too.
You may be doing
I'm beginning to think so.
Yeah.
maybe looking at a concrete arch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Rob, great job as always. Thank you, buddy. All right.
Thank you for letting me join, man. I love it.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Don't forget, Rob, catch Rob in the mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern on the SEC sidelines. And that crazy producer guy he's got who bailed us out tonight. Thanks to him.
Yeah.
We're back tonight. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. You bet.
Good night.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thank you. All right, folks, I want to wind up by telling you about my friends at Renstar Medical Research who sponsor this program. Take myself off the air. And thanks to everybody who helped make the show. We're in Tallahassee. We'll be staying here at the beautiful Indigo, which I love, by the way, if you haven't stayed here. And anyway, so yeah, we watch the game tomorrow. So the folks at Renstar who've been so good about our community, they're emphasizing clinical trials. What is a clinical trial? It's where people come in, sign up, have to qualify for some particular study. Let's just say psoriasis, whatever. And you have a group of people sign up for it, and they come in and they have the placebo pill for some, and they have the new medication for other to see who responds to it. They do this because they want to know more about the issues of health that we have in our area, immediately north central Florida. And Renstar is a world-class organization whose information is shipped out around the world to these other companies. And so Renstar does it right. In some cases, if you sign up for these, by the way, if you want to sign up, go to renstar.net, see if you qualify. You could be paid for time and travel. And of course, you also could get special study medications that nobody else would get, and devices. And so anyway, if you don't want to know more about it, go to renstar.net, check it out, see if you would qualify for it, and you'll know why people say Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. It's been a good show tonight, folks. Thank you to everybody that made it possible. Thank you for tuning in and hanging on during our rocky beginning. And we'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be in our north central, honey. We'll be home tomorrow. We'll be in Panama City tomorrow, doing our thing, and we'll have a show tomorrow night talking about those two games. Will Florida be among them? Well, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. It sure has been fun. Folks, from Tallahassee, good night. Talk to you tomorrow.